This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
President Bola Tinubu has condemned last weekend's suicide bomb attacks that killed up to 18 people in Gwoza local government area of Borno state. Though the president says the perpetrators will face justice, he also says the attacks are, quote, a clear manifestation of the pressure mounted against terrorists and the success achieved in degrading their capacity to launch offensives. Suicide bombings were a frequent occurrence during the time of former Boko Haram leader Bola Tinubu, who was killed by Nigerian troops. These latest attacks raise questions on whether we are set to see a resurgence of the deadly practice. Joining me on this morning is Jesse Atta. Mr. Atta is Risk Operations and Intelligence Coordinator at security firm Beacon Consulting. Good morning and welcome to the conversation, Mr. Atta.
Good morning. Nice to be here again.
It's a pleasure to have you on. To start off with these channels is reporting and citing an anonymous local government official who says up to 30 women have been arrested, and the plan was for 30 detonations. Only 4 went off. By these numbers, should we be concerned that we're about to see suicide bombings return to the fray in the Northeast?
Yeah, indeed. I believe we have reason to be concerned. I also saw those figures too, though it has not been confirmed independently. But given that significant figure, 30 women deployed across Borno, and we don't even know if it's just Borno that they're going to operate using for concern. And perhaps this is the call for our intelligence agencies to, really step up in terms of tracking and getting the identity of these persons and, deterring these actions from happening any further.
Now, I do wonder if the government response has been the right one, whether it indicates that we are concerned about this possible resurgence.
Yes, I believe the response is adequate to an extent. Thing is, government often tries to avoid chaos or panic within the policy, and I believe that has been their approach so far in dealing with this particular matter. I understand that many a times people will expect a more robust response and deployment of security agents or some significant movement here and there. But from information that we had gathered between the time of the incident and just yesterday, they have a significant movement and deployment of troops to certain areas in Borno in trying to identify persons and also working with local partners like the CJTF to identify suspicious movements of aliens in areas of Borno, particular community areas.
Is there anything to indicate who could be behind this move? Because again, I go back to the time of Bola Tinubu, and he was particularly masterminding the suicide bomb attacks, and we saw women being used as weapons in that situation. We're having that again, even though he's been dead, maybe 3-4 years now?
Absolutely. The barbaric pattern in which this attack occurred lies with tactics typically used by Boko Haram. ISWAP, on the other hand, have not been known to engage in such barbaric forms of attack. And so we can't dismiss the fact that this may be a possible reemergence of suicide bombing by Boko Haram in that particular region and local government area. We recall that as far back as 2014, when Boko Haram had a very, very strong presence in Gwoza, where it had declared that Gwoza was its Islamic Caliphate. Before it was reclaimed by government security forces, we saw the use of such attacks. Even in one of the recent attacks a woman was actually carrying a child at her back before detonating herself. So this sort of barbaric tactics have often been used by Boko Haram, although the group has not claimed responsibility, or no group at all has claimed responsibility for that. And we should be expecting one in a couple of days.
Mr. Atta, thank you so much for joining us on the conversation and for your analysis this morning. My guest, Jesse Atta, is Risk Operations and Intelligence Coordinator at Beacon Consulting, speaking on last weekend's suicide bombings at two locations, in particular in Gwoza local government area of Borno State. Up to 18 people have died, and the government says that they will be fishing out the perpetrators and make them face justice.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.